Let's get started. The biggest issue we have in the angel world is that tough enough. We don't really ask tough questions of the entrepreneurs. So it's my interest to try and get down into the gutter with you as good as I can. And it's all for good, not for bad. So tell me first, why is your product idea such a good one?
Because we are solving one of the biggest problems in healthcare today. So every year, hospital-acquired infections claim more than 100,000 lives in the US alone. And the CDC recognizes that the number one way to lower these infections is through increased hand hygiene.
So the biggest issue I have seen, at least relative to the hospitals and doctors that I've spoken to regarding your idea and your approach, is that they won't use it. They feel uncomfortable about using it. They feel that it's a deterrent to their work that they do. How do you feel about that?
That's a good question. So obviously,
it wasn't a question as much as it was a statement. And these are from doctors that I spoke to.
They actually found that it saved them time and made their work more convenient in order to practice hand hygiene at the level that they're expecting.
Is that the number one way you'll describe to doctors that they should use it? And what percentage did you find didn't want to use it?
So currently, the initial design that the Northwestern Memorial people had, we had 30% adoption. We redesigned it, went back to the hospital, now we have 65% adoption. That means every single person on the unit, 65% of them are opting in to use a SwipeSense.
Who makes a decision that the doctor has to use it?
It really depends on the hospital leadership. And from our current experience with hospitals, there are hospitals with very, very strong leadership that run the hospital in a very disciplined manner and say, all right, here's a new rule, everybody uses this, and that's that. There are different hospitals.
Isn't there part of the conversation that I've read online about you guys that this is a critical watching opportunity also to see that the doctors are actually using some kind of sanitation device? How much of that is part of your marketing?
When it comes to making and marketing and kind of selling the system and the technology to a hospital, to our customer, the kind of monitoring component and our ability to capture hand hygiene data in real time is a very, very big component and a big kind of selling point to hospitals, and the reason why multiple portable hand sanitation companies in the past have failed.
Okay, so there are two components. There's the usage because it's going to sanitize, and it's are you using it properly? Now, if the doctor doesn't use it properly, what happens? What's the consequence in the hospital?
With the SwipeSense data product, it's very clear. You basically don't win the incentive rewards that your peers are winning.
And what's the primary incentive reward?
The primary incentive reward is actually, believe it or not, is fame and fortune and being better than your peers, which is a great motivator for healthcare workers.
So what have you learned to be the issues with maintenance as well? How often does it have to be changed, updated?
So we've designed the system to be kind of, basically plug and play, as easy to install and set up, and then to maintain going afterwards. It's all cloud-based. We get notifications if any one of those pieces, crucial pieces, kind of go down.
Isn't there this attitude of Big Brother watching too much in the hospitals, and you're just adding to that?
So currently, the only additional data that we collect along with hand hygiene data is room entry data, and that basically allows us to create a denominator for hand hygiene compliance.
Got it. Well, I appreciate your time. You've done a very good job answering the questions. I'm not convinced yet that long-term, the technology, the service, the support that needs to be done, and I completely admire and respect what you believe in. But I think it's going to take a bit of time to understand the behaviors that these people will have over time of being watched to do this. So thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much, Brian. Pleasure talking to you today.